The puppy's small body shivered, but not from cold. Its muscles had been drained from 3 days without food, every step a question it could barely answer. The jungle surrounded it like a living wall, dense and indifferent. Leaves brushed against its fur, insects whispered threats, and every sound seemed louder than the last. Its eyes, wide and unblinking, locked on something invisible. Not fear, exactly. Not hope. Something in between, fragile and trembling, waiting for a signal it didn't know would come. The most impossible detail, its tiny paws were caked in mud, marks of a journey that wasn't visible to anyone walking by. Every step it had taken seemed meaningless, yet the prints told a story of endurance that could not be ignored. Somewhere beyond the trees, the faint sound of water teased the mind, a promise it could not reach. Every breath burned, every heartbeat a countdown, every twitch of its ears a silent plea. The puppy had stopped trying to run. It had stopped searching. Its body seemed to negotiate with exhaustion, negotiating survival in the quietest, most terrifying way. This story doesn't begin before danger arrives. It begins when the world has already forgotten you. And the hardest part? Survival doesn't feel heroic yet. This was never just a puppy lost in the jungle. Its struggle reflected something larger, something most people never see until it stares them in the eyes. The jungle was silent in a way that betrayed its danger. Not loud, not threatening, but patient. Every hour passed like a quiet hand pressing against life itself. 3 days without food had weakened the puppy, yet the real threat wasn't hunger alone. It was time, slow, inevitable and unforgiving. The puppy had wandered following a scent, a sound, a curiosity that didn't understand boundaries. It had taken one wrong step, and suddenly every moment became a negotiation with survival. No predator appeared, no sudden storm struck, yet the jungle had already begun taking its toll. Beyond the trees, humans moved unaware. They drank water freely, walked paths safely, slept without the weight of survival pressing down. And yet, it wasn't cruelty that endangered the puppy. It was absence. Ignorance. The invisibility of suffering when it falls outside attention. By the time help might arrive, the puppy's body would already be negotiating shutdown. Organs conserving energy, muscles weakening, awareness narrowing, survival had become a silent, internal struggle. Rescue was no longer a question of finding it. It was a race against a clock no one could hear. The story wasn't only about saving an animal. It was about noticing what the world usually overlooks. Because sometimes, the loudest danger is not something attacking. It's something quietly slipping away. The puppy's struggle wasn't just survival. It was a mirror of life ignored, of moments missed, of care deferred. And in that reflection, the stakes are suddenly universal. The puppy was aware, in its own fragile way, of the world pressing down around it. Each movement was careful, deliberate, small. Every twitch of its ears, every slow blink, communicated intention, a will to live that refused to be loud. Its tiny body shivered, not from fear alone, but from the exhaustion of surviving beyond its limits. It had learned to conserve energy, folding its limbs under itself, pressing against the damp ground to keep warmth where it mattered most. Hunger gnawed silently, a relentless reminder, yet the puppy continued to listen, to wait, to respond to the smallest hint of possibility. Its eyes, wide and glistening, told a story without words. Hope lingered quietly behind them, fragile and almost invisible, yet persistent. The puppy wasn't begging. It wasn't panicking. It was enduring. Every small breath, every shift, every cautious movement became a signal to the world that life was still present, that survival was still possible. In that endurance, the puppy became humanized in ways viewers could feel deeply, a being with intention, fear, and quiet courage. It had not surrendered. It had not forgotten itself. And in that delicate balance, empathy forms. The audience doesn't just witness its struggle, they feel it, understanding that the smallest creature can hold a universe of hope within a fragile, trembling body. This is where connection begins, in silence, in observation, in the quiet courage of the defenseless. The jungle didn't need to attack. It didn't need to roar or strike. Its danger was patient, silent, unstoppable. Time itself had become the predator. Every hour passed with quiet precision, draining strength, pulling moisture from the puppy's body with an invisible hand. Heat pressed down like a weight, humidity wrapped around every limb, and dehydration crept through the body in slow, imperceptible increments. There was no sudden violence, no dramatic confrontation. The threat existed because it simply continued, relentless and indifferent. The puppy's legs weakened gradually. Its small heartbeat slowed. Each breath demanded more effort than the last. Awareness narrowed. Alertness softened. Muscles refused commands they had followed instinctively only hours before. Predators could have come, storms could have broken, but the true danger was this: inevitability. The kind of force that doesn't announce itself with chaos. It moves calmly, inexorably, like a tide that always reaches the shore, like a clock that never stops ticking. The puppy did not struggle against the jungle. It could not. Its body, already negotiating survival, understood the quiet weight of inevitability. Each sound of insects, each rustle of leaves, reinforced that nothing extraordinary was required to claim its life. It was not about escape. It was about endurance, not about avoiding disaster. It was about surviving a force so ordinary, so consistent, that resistance seemed almost meaningless. The most dangerous moments are often invisible. The calmest threats are often the deadliest. For a fleeting moment, it seemed the puppy might survive on its own. A soft breeze rustled through the trees, carrying cooler air that brushed against its fur. Small drops of moisture clung to leaves above, trembling before falling. One drop landed near its nose. Another touched the ground near its paw. The puppy's tongue, weak but responsive, flicked out slowly. Moisture, though insufficient, felt like salvation. It lifted its head slightly, inhaling faintly. The burn in its throat eased, even if only temporarily. The mind registered relief, the body responded. For a heartbeat, the jungle appeared less threatening. Time seemed to pause, offering the illusion that nature itself might intervene. From outside, everything looked peaceful. The puppy was still, the jungle calm. One might imagine that hunger and exhaustion could be overcome without help, that the struggle was nearly complete, that survival might arrive unaided. But the truth lingered silently beneath that brief reprieve. Dehydration continued its slow conquest. Muscles remained weak, energy reserves low. The puppy's fragile body had not healed, only endured. False hope is subtle, dangerous. It whispers that urgency can wait. It offers comfort without solving the problem. And in that brief pause, the audience senses the looming shock, the inevitable continuation of struggle. Relief here is only a setup, a quiet tension that primes the heart for what comes next. The puppy had not survived. It had only momentarily believed it might. The rescue team entered the jungle cautiously, expecting a routine search. Reports had been vague, directions unclear, hope uncertain. They anticipated tracks, sounds, signs, indications that life lingered. What they found instead was almost imperceptible: stillness. The puppy lay in mud, almost invisible, its body blending with the earth. One rescuer froze, noticing the wrongness of perfect silence. No movement, no noise, only a fragile form that seemed suspended between survival and surrender. Eyes wide, the puppy lifted its head slowly. Its gaze was not playful, not fearful, but questioning. Was this real? Were these figures tangible, or just another illusion of the jungle? The team had not imagined this. They had trained for emergencies, for rapid response, for dramatic encounters. This was none of that. Rescue had entered a space already dominated by inevitability, a story almost concluded before they arrived. Every step now required precision. Every hand movement measured. The puppy's trembling body demanded care, not haste. It became clear that this rescue was not about heroics. It was about interruption, an unexpected entry into a narrative the jungle had written without permission. The puppy's survival was uncertain, the jungle indifferent. The rescuers, unprepared for such fragile complexity, became the anomaly, the variable capable of shifting a story already in motion. Their presence alone rewrote possibility, altering a path the puppy had been negotiating silently. Every step toward the puppy carried risk. The jungle floor was uneven, slick with mud, roots twisting like hidden traps. One wrong move could injure the rescuers, or worse, startle the puppy into expending the last reserves of its strength. Careful footing was mandatory, yet urgency pressed relentlessly. Water presented another challenge. The puppy's body, dehydrated and weak, could not tolerate haste. Too much too fast could trigger shock. Too little, and the narrow window for survival would close. Decisions were made silently, glances exchanged without words. Timing had become a currency as precious as life itself. The puppy trembled. Its muscles refused to obey completely. Each attempt to move required support, coaxing, reassurance. A single misstep could undo days of endurance. Invisible conflicts pressed as heavily as visible ones. Doubt, fear, the lingering question of whether they had arrived too late. Sweat streamed down faces not from heat alone, but from the weight of responsibility. Every motion, every touch, every second carried consequences. The rescuers understood that this was more than a physical challenge. It was a negotiation between patience and urgency, risk and necessity, action and restraint. Rescue wasn't a single act of heroism. It was a sequence of fragile, deliberate choices. And standing there, amidst a jungle that had already claimed so much, the team recognized the terrifying truth. Life could be saved. But only if every decision was perfect. The moment of truth arrived suddenly. The puppy tried to stand, but its legs buckled beneath it. One rescuer caught it just in time, supporting its fragile body. A shiver ran through its small frame. Heartbeats raced as adrenaline surged through human veins and animal veins alike. Then, a sharp crack from a distant branch startled them all. The puppy flinched violently, nearly collapsing again. Every second became a heartbeat stretched impossibly thin. The rescuers whispered, adjusted their grip, shifted weight, murmuring soft reassurances. Mud shifted beneath a rescuer's feet, threatening to send them sliding into disaster. Hands steadied, balance recalibrated, the puppy held tightly against danger and gravity alike. Each tiny movement required absolute precision. The puppy's tongue moved slowly, lapsing a few drops of water measured carefully by one hand. Muscles that had refused command moments before responded fractionally. The smallest victory felt monumental. A near fall, another flinch, another heartbeat held, and then a swallow. Small, trembling, deliberate, alive. The jungle, once patient and indifferent, now watched silently as possibility returned. Danger had tested every fiber of life and care. In that sequence of tension, near loss, and precision, the line between survival and defeat blurred. Victory was not yet complete. It was fragile, earned only by split-second decisions and unwavering focus. The climax was not just a moment of survival, it was a heartbeat suspended in the balance of life itself. The puppy was finally safe, cradled carefully in the rescuer's arms. Every step away from the jungle demanded vigilance, each movement deliberate to avoid further strain. Its body, trembling but alive, pressed against human chests seeking warmth and reassurance. They had succeeded, but the victory carried weight. Weakness lingered in the puppy's muscles, energy reserves nearly exhausted. Its eyes, though alert, held shadows of fatigue and struggle. The journey had left invisible scars, a body pushed to its absolute limits, awareness narrowed by days of survival. Time had claimed hours that could never be returned. Innocence had been lost. The puppy had experienced danger no young life should face. Peace had been fractured, for both animal and rescuers, as the silent pressure of the jungle's inevitability remained fresh in their minds. Yet something remained. Fragile, but undeniable life. The jungle receded behind them, indifferent to the rescue. The puppy had survived, yes, but only through careful, calculated intervention. Its survival was not a story of effortless triumph, but of delicate negotiation, sacrifice, and relentless attention. Victory was not clean, and it was not easy. What endured was a lesson without words. Survival is rarely about brute strength or luck. It is about persistence, care, and unwavering vigilance. In the end, something precious had been saved, but something essential had also been altered forever. Perhaps courage is not loud. Perhaps it does not roar, fight, or demand attention. It exists in small, quiet choices, in moments when no one watches, when every action carries risk and uncertainty. The puppy survived not because danger vanished, nor because rescue was guaranteed. It survived because someone noticed, because someone acted, patiently, carefully, refusing to leave life unnoticed. This story mirrors the human mind: awareness, empathy, and action balanced against time, risk, and inevitability. Sometimes, seeing, understanding, and intervening quietly is more heroic than any loud triumph. Courage may be measured in the subtle preservation of life itself. If the quiet courage of survival resonates within you, if moments of unseen endurance linger in your mind, perhaps this space is not accidental. A place where attention, heart, and presence converge, where witnessing life quietly matters. Maybe here, among stories and silence, you belong too.